But let's hop into the Super Bowl really quick, and I'm just going to give my brief thoughts on it. And the Chiefs, obviously, back-to-back winners, 25-22. And what made this game, I'll be honest with you, what made this game a lot more fun was having money on the line. I won $230 with the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl and being drunk. So those two things definitely helped make this Super Bowl fun. Patrick Mahomes, I'm a big Patrick Mahomes hater. Like, I'll straight up admit it. I'm definitely a Patrick Mahomes hater, but I got to admit, it's pretty impressive what he's been able to do. I will say this year, the hater side of me is going to come out and say that this year was more about the defense, which it was. But he still played good when he needed to. So, much respect to the Chiefs. Next year it'll be the Ravens winning this, but I'll let them get their I'll let them get this, this good feeling while they can, for sure. Really seemed like this was the 49ers game to win too. Kind of like a lot of Chiefs games we've seen throughout the season. It just seemed like the 49ers were like ready to win most of the game. I felt like the 49ers were going to win literally up until that last drive in overtime when I was like, oh shit, you know what? I think the Chiefs are probably going to win. And then they just cut up the 49ers defense like Swiss cheese and scored the game-winning touchdown with Mecole Hardman, of all people. So, yeah, it definitely felt like it was the 49ers game to win the whole game. But they just kind of shot themselves in their foot so much that they fired their defensive coordinator, Steve Wilks. Now, we'll probably talk about that more in our episode this weekend when all three of us are here, but what are you doing, 49ers? Like, why are we firing Steve Wilks over one game? I get it was a Super Bowl and it was actually not just one game, one drive, because the 49ers defense was playing pretty good up until this point. And Steve Wilks is a good coach that I think has just had horrible luck, and it doesn't get better here when they fire him. So, I feel for the guy. I think I hope he'll find a good job. And the only way that they do this is if they're getting someone that, they won't ever have the opportunity to get again, and that might be Bill Belichick. So, like I said, we'll talk about this more on Saturday, and maybe by that point they'll have hired their replacement. I don't know, but it just seems a little bit silly to do that, over one drive that he really didn't have control of. I think it was more the players just kind of melting in the moment more than Steve Wilks' play calling. But yeah, the Chiefs are Super Bowl champions again. That's really all I have to say about it, especially because it's been so long since the Super Bowl that I don't want to go too much into it because, it's kind of old news at this point. But I did just want to talk about it for at least a second.